Hello everyone and welcome back to the Peppo Coin channel. I hope you have a fantastic day. This Thursday marks the beginning of March. Crazy. Folks, I adore this time of the month. I do. I adore the following 4 days. Even if you're not a fan, college basketball is an intriguing sport. We've got a lot to cover and not a lot of stinking time, so forget about my enthusiasm for supporting the underdog. The price of XRP is changing the game. I will break it down as if we were all in 5th grade. As a result, you now know what it implies, what XRP futures are, and why. Oh, I'm so optimistic. The XRP chart appears to be extremely optimistic. Additionally, futures trading is officially open today. There might be some spectacular moves ahead. We also received a rumor alert. Will Trump declare today that cryptocurrency is tax-free? The market may undergo a significant change as a result. This will cause the market for cryptocurrency assets to go into full-blown parabolic mode. Finish it all off, Garlinghouse just released a really important interview. He stated something you don't want to miss. Therefore, let's go straight in. $85,000 in Bitcoin, $326 as of 1990. The Ethereum content is 1.66%. Both USDT and USDC are coming in at their dollar pegs as XRP, so it's up 3 and 8%. Or excuse me, it's down 1.1%, yes, earning $2.47. Although it's still up 6% over the last day, the hourly total cryptocurrency market cap of $2.76 trillion indicates a slight decline. Not much has changed. This video was shot earlier than normal today, and I broke the news that Trump intends to remove all cryptocurrency gain taxes on Bitcoin and other digital currencies in his upcoming summit statement. And since I have a lot of crazy things to watch around noon, this is before the speech. A revolutionary move that might skyrocket prices. This would be the most significant piece of 2024 cryptocurrency news. I made a mistake. I must enter 2025 to observe what occurs while I'm still asleep. However, I witnessed the blast, but we abruptly terminated it. That's what we discuss here, as you just saw. This is the XRP chart. Look, it's so simple to realize that green is evil and red is all right. We have green. We're doing well. Don't auto fit, we climb up into the red. We're not doing well. In the auto fit, as I previously stated, we were going to pump straight into resistance. Therefore, I didn't want this XRP pump to occur just yet. And we accomplished precisely that. We saw a rise from the lows, which were around 228 and 228. We then pumped directly into the resistance zone on XRP, which is between 250 and 265. After 265 is shattered. Cheers, hippie. Yes, Kyle. From 272 all the way up to $3, we simply push it straight up into another resistant area. At the moment, it simply isn't loading on the chart. Sometimes it just bugs out, so I can try a quick reload to see if we can get the red wave back. There you have it. When we had more than $3, I intended to make this statement. But guess what? It is what it is. Could we see a complete retracement back down to this area between $89 and $99 and perhaps even lower to $63 to $75? Credible Crypto, however, presented his XRP chart. What he said was this. This is still the same strategy, he says. He believes that nothing has changed for XRP. He talks about the lower lows on XRP and warns that if we don't understand, we simply leave our spot place because we don't understand it. In other words, if XRP were to retrace, he would be looking to take a long position. If it doesn't, he simply writes his spot up to double digits. These lower lows down here, however, the price of XRP at the end of this cycle, he is staring at double figures. Here's a chart. Then, as you can see, he is initially interested in the red, which costs between $50 and $2, which is essentially consistent with what we have, correct? The current ratio is 63 to $2, approximately $1.50, give or take. He could really be worth $60. Therefore, if that does break, it's very much exactly what we have. Don't worry about the green box because it could also happen. You may see some wicks up there with the lowest price being $20. I am aware that many of you are saying, this isn't possible, Rip. It will not take place. Look, I don't want it to happen, but you need to know so you don't panic out if it does. All right, because this is totally okay. Even if this happens, it won't alter the fact that XRP is rising into double-digit territory. When we fall below $20, we start to encounter problems. When we have difficulties, however, if a correction is made and we are reduced to $1.20 to $1.30, Since double digits are still in the works and Crypto Insight indicates that XRP's 3-day bullish cross is beneficial for XRP, It is acceptable for XRP's plan. However, we have not yet left the woodworks. He claims that after weeks of monitoring, we finally received the bullish cross yesterday. The last cross from this region on the RSI resulted in a surge from the 50-cent mark in November all the way up to 2,070 cents. It was a huge action. Here is another structure that is comparable. A move of around 38% was made by the three green candles that formed the bullish cross at 50 cents. The three green candles that we have recently observed added up to about 30%. Nevertheless, XRP continues to see resistance on a number of charts. We're discussing the ETH, Bitcoin, and XRP dominance charts, so you should also be keeping an eye on those. Next, we discuss the future. They began today. XRP futures are now regulated by the CFTC. I'm going to explain this to you as if you were 5 years old, all right? Since everyone can relate to toys and video games, that's how we'll compare this. Imagine then that you have a unique toy that people genuinely enjoy. Since there aren't enough toys for everyone, the price is likely to increase if more people decide to purchase it in the future. Futures trading in cryptocurrency allows users to place bets on whether a coin's price will increase or decrease in the future. Large investors and traders purchase more of the coin now to avoid missing out when many wager that the price will rise. Due to increased demand, the price may rise as a result of this additional purchasing. It's comparable to when a brand new video game is released and everyone pre-orders it because they believe it will be fantastic. The price and demand increase because so many people desire it. For XRP futures, that is what we are witnessing. When it comes to cryptocurrency assets, futures is where the big money starts to come in. Here is Brad Garlinghouse's interview where he was asked if XRP was in the stockpile because, let's face it, we received a lot of conflicting information about it. If it wasn't in the stockpile because you saw it at David, he said, oh yeah, we only said something about XRP because it was a top traded cryptocurrency. However, the day before that, Eric Trump or Donald Trump said that XRP was in the stockpile. So let's listen to Brad, the man who has been at the White House and has been talking to these people about the stockpile and other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin. Therefore, in addition to the Bitcoin strategic reserve, any cryptocurrency that has been confiscated by law enforcement agencies, including XRP, would also be added to the stockpile. That's what I understand. We have been discussing a significant event for you and your business, which is, of course, a rollback of Brad. There you have it. It will originate from there, which is how the stockpile can obtain it. Let's go on to 910, where Brad Garlinghouse discusses whether or not banks are embracing this new technology. If we can get it to unbuff, think absolutely yes. Just in the past few weeks, I have witnessed U.S. financial institutions shift from saying, look, we're just not going to touch it because we don't want the extra scrutiny of the regulators, to saying, since these are legal businesses, it may or may not have even been legal. However, big banks that once said bad things are now saying good things. One of the two areas that I believe will see the most activity in the near future is custody. When real-world assets are being tokenized, these institutions want to be able to securely manage and protect such assets for their clients and maybe for the bank itself. The second one has to do with payments. The infrastructure for international payments is still somewhat antiquated. Wires are slow, Recently experienced the 5-day disappearance of a wire transfer that was sending over EU. Once more, Brad is making fun of SWIFT. We are aware that it will fail. We are aware that digital ledger technology will be used as the foundation for the future financial system. DLT is that. We are aware that XRP will be operating and taking the place of the backbone of the system here, and that Ripple will play a significant part in this. People, pay attention to what's happening with the major players